Hello, y'all. 2017 has ended, and I did not read 100 books this year, which is my standing goal. But I did read almost 80, which, I mean, is almost there, kind of. While I was going through my Goodreads list, I realized that I had some really high highs and some really low lows. So this is part one of two of my, best and worst books of 2017. And I want to start it off on a low note so we can take it up to a high note. So I am going to be starting with my top five or bottom five books of 2017, if you will. These are presented in no particular order, except for I'm going to talk about the two that I don't have in physical copies first, and then I'm going to talk about the three that I have in physical copies, just because otherwise I think I'll forget the other two. First, I'm going to talk about a book that I didn't even finish this year. So, I don't know, maybe if I'd finished it, it would have ended up being the best book I ever read. I don't know. But the book is We the Drowned, and it was Taylor's book for one of our Bibliomancy for Beginners episodes. And oh my god. Taylor's desire to pick these Nordic epics is just like the antithesis of everything that I am as a reader. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure that this book is fantastic literary greatness to some people. It's not to me at all. It's the kind of slow, sprawling build that I just don't get behind. And I think if you guys know anything about me, you know that I need books that just go. And this was not this book, and I wasn't even in the Bibliomancy for Beginners episode, which I'll link to, because I just couldn't get through it, and I really don't want to full-on review books that I have not finished. I don't think that's fair to anyone involved, you, the author, or anyone, because I don't have all the facts, so I don't review books I haven't finished. But in terms of books that I tried to read this year, when I was thinking about what were the worst, that one's like high on the list. It's the only DNF that I have actually in 2017. It will surprise absolutely no one that for the third year in a row, Lev Grossman makes an appearance on my bottom five list with the last book in the Magician's trilogy, The Magician's Land. If you do not know, because you are new, for the last 3 years, in January or December, Bibliomancy for Beginners has done one of the 3 Magician's Trilogy books. Yes, we did it before the TV show, made it cool. And we all, and I do mean all of us, hate them undiscriminately. And I'm sorry if you like them. I cannot speak for the TV show. I have not watched it. The first book was not terrible. That was not when this whole period started. It was actually the second book, and the way that the second book ends, which was just, what? And after that second book, we were like, oh my god, do we really even want to read the third book? And we tried. We did. We finished it. We wanted to finish the series. We wanted to finish it because we thought that it would get marginally better. It was better than the second book, but that's not like a huge jump in the right direction. But I just, that whole trilogy, man, is an adventure, and I'll link again to that if you want to watch it at all, or if you've read it. Again, just not for me. Not for me in of the slightest, and I think the main character is a prick, and I can't stand reading books about people that I hate. Like, I understand that that's like something fun that some people do sometimes. It doesn't work for me, personally. It's actually a really good segue. Good job, me. It's a really good segue because, like, all of the books that are on my bottom five are kind of here because I hated the main character. And I hated, like, following them through, like, big chunky old books. And so if again, you followed me for a little bit, you know that I love historical fiction, and I have read almost everything Philippa Gregory has ever written. And so when Three Sisters, Three Queens came out, I was so excited because this is the story of Catherine of Aragon and then the two Tudor daughters, Henry VIII's sisters, Margaret and Mary, and like their intertwined existence, which is really fascinating and interesting and just kind of crazy to think about. That's not really how the book ends up going, like at all. I did review this and I linked that up there again, so I won't rehash it too much. Just Margaret Tudor. I started listening to this on audio and I could not get through it. Oh my god. Margaret Tudor is so annoying and spoiled and terrible. And like the voice actress was doing a really great job, which was the problem. And then it really was just Margaret's story with like some Catherine and Mary thrown in there. It was not interesting, and it was boring, and if I didn't want to review it so bad, I wouldn't have finished it, because that's literally the entire reason why. Because I was like, oh my god, I gotta talk about this. So you can watch my review for more. I did not review this on the blog, but I might talk about it in a later video. But this is another of my bottom 5, obviously. Why else are you here? It's Grasshopper Drungle by Andrew Smith. This is a Prince Honor book. It's a Prince Honor book. I don't even know. This is the story of, you know what, actually, I'm gonna read the back of this, just for your interest. In a small town of Ealing, Iowa, Austin and his best friend Robbie have accidentally unleashed an unstoppable army. An army of horny, hungry, 6-foot-tall praying mantises that only want to do 2 things. This groundbreaking coming-of-age stunner brilliantly weaves together everything from testicle-dissolving genetically modified corn to the struggles of recession-era small-town America. Words fail me. Words actually fail me. The main character, Austin, is a prick, and there's just everything makes him horny, and he's always talking about how horny he is and how random things make him horny, and then there are giant mantises who are going around and screwing other mantises and then eating each... I understand that there are some interesting themes in here, and I can understand, I think, why some people might find this really smart and witty, but as a reading experience for me, no. If I wanted to, like, relive someone's awkward adolescence, I do that every single night when something from 6 years ago that I did that one time, it really embarrassed me, comes back to haunt me in my dreams. I get enough of that. I don't need this. So yeah. Ugh. No. And finally, I think that this is the most disappointing book on the list. And this is my arc of Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. I got this art from work, and I was super excited about it because, first of all, I needed to win, and they needed to die. And then this part right here says, perfect for fantasy fans of Sarah J. Maas and Leigh Bardugo. And this first book in this new duology features a compelling gender-fluid main character and world building and action. But I was just like, oh my god, a gender-fluid assassin. It's so me. It's so great. It's so interesting. I've never seen this before. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, long story short, it did not portray the main character, Sal, in a way that I wanted it to. Also, it says impressive world building. I had a lot of issues with the way that the world was built regarding specifically the idea of religious tolerance and intolerance, and also the gender thing in the book, which was kind of haphazard and didn't have the kind of impact that I was hoping it would have. I did make a full review of this book because I was very passionate about it, and I'll link that above. But I got to the end and I was just like, I thought that it could have been so much more than it was. And don't get me wrong, it's okay. It's an okay book. But in terms of the things that it was clearly trying to tackle and just not tackling at all, it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So it's on this list just because it wasn't as bad as some of the other books on the list, but it was just, I think, overall the most disappointing. That or Philippa Gregory, just making me sad. One of the two. I don't know. Anyways. So in recap, my bottom 5 books for this year are We the Drowned, Grasshopper Jungle, Three Sisters, Three Queens, Mask of Shadows, and Magician's Land. It was so bad that I've already forgotten about it. Whew, boy. Anyways, I will be back next week with my top 5 from this year, and it will be much more excited than this one. So I will see you guys then. Bye!